This is my Dragon Gate USA Untouchable pay-per-view review. The pay-per-view aired for the first time last night, and watched it last night. I thought it was a very good pay-per-view outing from Dragon Gate USA. Really good show. This is definitely a show that I would highly recommend to everyone. This is like one of the top shows of the year. I would put this up there with Supercard of Honor 4 and Wrestle Kingdom 3. This was a very good pay-per-view. Had two Match of the Year candidates, and overall this is a very good pay-per-view. It's for only $20. It was definitely well worth the $20 and definitely worth going out your way to purchase. The first match of the pay-per-view was Masato Yoshino versus Dragon Kid. This is a very fun opener, good back and forth action. Maybe a little bit spotty, but that's kind of what you expect with the Dragon Gate nature of wrestling. And this was actually a very good opener. The crowd was into it. This was a good match to start the pay-per-view off with because it really got the crowd into the show, and obviously the people viewing this on pay-per-view got them into the show as well. Good back and forth action. Just a very enjoyable opener. 3.5 stars. Dragon Kid picks up the victory. Then it looks like they might be having another match, or they might meet each other in the tournament at the next pay-per-view, because they kind of, at the end of this match, Dragon Kid did the same thing that he tried to do last month, extend the hand, shake Yoshino's hand. Yoshino didn't want to do it, and that led to something later on. And then the next matchup was Yamato and Gran Akuma versus Mike Quackenbush and Jigsaw. And this was really the only match on this pay-per-view that had any type of storyline behind it going into the match. This was built up after the Shikara 8-man from the first Dragon Gate USA pay-per-view, Enter the Dragon. And that was after Gran Akuma turned on Shikara, or turned on his Shikara mates, and joined up with Yamato. And this is a solid tag team match. Now, there's going to be one thing that I think that a lot of people might have a problem with this match, and I enjoyed the match, but some people might not enjoy it as much as I did, because there was one thing that hurt this match just a little bit, but it didn't hurt the match in such a way that I thought it turned out to be a bad match either. I thought it was, a solid match here, and the thing that kind of, hurt the match a little bit, because this could have been better if this didn't happen within this match. Apparently, Jigsaw, he kind of tweaked his leg or ankle in this match and got a little injured within this match. He couldn't really do much. He kept on hobbling on his legs during a good portion of this match, and that was the one thing that kind of hurt the match a little bit, but still it was a very good tag team match. You saw some good stuff with Gran Akuma and Mike Quackenbush. Yamato got in some good mat work, good technical stuff from him. An overall good solid match here, and Quackenbush and Jigsaw pick up the victory after Mike Quackenbush hits the Quacken Driver #2 to Gran Akuma in a 3-1/4 star match. And this is one of those matches that some people might enjoy it like I did, or some people might say, 2.5, maybe close to 3, but not quite 3, because of the whole thing with Jigsaw in that match, especially the couple botches within this match due to the little injury he suffered within this match. But he still gutted it out, and he still tried his best within this match. I got to give it to him for that. Then the next matchup was the one of the main reasons to check out this pay-per-view, this and another match later on in the evening. The first one being Bryan Danielson versus Naruki Doi. And this was just an excellent match, great match from these two. Good back and forth action, a lot of good false finishes, good amount of near falls. Not too many good amount of false finishes, but not too excessive with it that it hurt the quality of the match. And just a very hard hitting match from these two. Danielson, great technical ability from him like always. Naruki Doi and them two both pretty much put everything out on the line in this match. They did every single thing they could against each other. Like I said, a hard-hitting match, just a enjoyable match, and one of the main reasons to check this pay-per-view out is for this match. And Naruki Doi picks up the victory after hitting the muscular bomb to Bryan Danielson in a 4.5-star match. And but believe it or not, this wasn't the best match of the evening, but this was an excellent match, definitely a match of the year candidate. Then the next matchup was Cima versus Bryan Kendrick. Now, there's one problem I had with this match, and this was one of the matches that could have been a good match, and it probably was a good match, because it definitely looked like it was going to be a good match. What I mean, it looked like it was a good match. This is what they did on this pay-per-view with this match. Apparently, I I guess for time constraints, they wanted to showcase this match because obviously I would think the reason why they want to showcase a Cima versus Bryan Kendricks is because, Bryan Kendricks is known from his stuff in WWE, and Cima is one of the most known guys within the Dragon Gate organization. Obviously, you want to put Cima on your Dragon Gate pay-per-view, so it makes sense right there. Now, but what they did in this match, okay, they showed the entrances of them two coming out, and they pretty much, right when the match was about to start, they cut to the back with Yoshino and Dragon Kid pretty much looking like they were brawling back there, and the wrestlers back there were breaking them up. And then they went back to the ring and pretty much just showed you the last 2 to 3 minutes, or pretty much a clip portion of the match. So this wasn't a full match right here, so can't give the match a rating. But I know a lot of people when they were at this show, when the show was taped, they said this match wasn't that good live, but I gotta say, for the little 2-3 minutes, maybe 4 minutes that we saw on pay-per-view of the match, it definitely looked like I wanted to see more of this match, because definitely looked like it could have been good, and the way they showed it on pay-per-view, it even made it worse, because it looked like it was nothing more than, Cima pretty much squashing Bryan Kendrick. So with that, I can't rate the match, and I would say, it would have been best if they probably would have scrapped this match, not put it on the pay-per-view, and would have showcased the, instead of the couple minutes they gave for this match and just showing it in clip portion, they could have gave that probably to the speech Bryan Danielson did after his match with Naruki Doi. That probably would have been a little better, but maybe with that, maybe they were thinking about doing that, and even with that speech, they could have maybe not had enough time for that, and they just felt like, hey, let's just throw this match on here because it's two named guys. But that's the only gripe with this pay-per-view, was this match was not shown in full. That's really the only problem with this pay-per-view. Then the next matchup was the match of the night, and this was definitely one of the top matches of this year. This was Davey Richards versus Shingo, and this was just an incredible match from start to finish. It was about 25 to 27 minutes long. It was just a great match from start to finish. Now, it started off a little slow, but then it built up. Very good, hard-hitting match between these two. Good back-and-forth match. The one thing I did forget to mention, the Danielson and Naruki Doi match, was a lot of good counters within that match and good reversal. You saw that in this match as well. Good technical stuff from Davey Richardson here. Just a very enjoyable match. And this match right here, Davey Richards versus Shingo, and the Bryan Danielson versus Naruki Doi match, those two matches are right there worth the price of, a $40 to $50 pay-per-view. This pay-per-view was that much. Those matches are actually worth that much, because that's how good those matches were. And this match, just an excellent match with Shingo and Davey Richards. Definitely a match I would highly recommend for people to see. And Davey Richards picks up the victory after hitting a shooting star press to Shingo, then putting him in the Kimura lock in a 4 3/4 star match. Now, I know some people have been giving this match 5 stars, but felt it was just a little off of 5 stars, but it was very, very close. And if anyone gives it 5 stars, I'm not going to really argue with them there. And I think, at the lowest, people would give this match probably, at the lowest, probably 4.5, because it was definitely that good of a match. Just a lot of excellent stuff in there. So many spots, it's tons of spots within that match that I probably, I can't even name all of them. That's how good this match was. Then the main event. Now, this match, the main event, it was a good tag team match, but the problem was that you went after the Davey Richards and Shingo match, which I think that should have been the main event of this pay-per-view, because I feel that was definitely, one of the matches that was main event worthy of this pay-per-view. But the main event was good, don't get me wrong. It was the Young Bucks versus Real Hazard, Ryo Saito, and Genki Horiguchi. And this match was good. It probably would have been even turned out a little better if this was put on before the Davey Richards match, and the Davey Richards match was the main event, because that was the one thing after the match that they had before them. It was going to be hard for them to go out there to really top it, and obviously they didn't, but it was still a good, enjoyable tag team match. Now, it started off very slow. I would even admit maybe the first 5 to 10 minutes of this match, especially the first 5 minutes, it kind of felt like it was dragging on, but that was mainly due to the match you had previously before this match right here. Then it picked up near the end of the match, and they did a lot of good stuff. The Young Bucks definitely showcasing this match why they are one of the best tag teams in the world going right now. And Ryo Saito and Genki Horiguchi, they played a good role as the heel tag team within this match. Good stuff within this match. I would give this match 3.5 stars. Like I said, it probably would have turned out a little better if it was before the Davey Richards match, or different placement on the card. It kind of did hurt the match being the main event, because then you saw the Danielson match already with Naruki Doi, and you saw the Shingo and Davey Richards match, and you knew, as good as the Young Bucks are, and as good as Ryo Saito and Genki Horiguchi are as a tag team in Dragon Gate, you knew that it would have been impossible for them to top that match right there. So that was like the only things with this pay-per-view really were that gripes were, maybe the placement of the Young Bucks match could have been, in the middle of the pay-per-view instead of the main event of the pay-per-view, but they are trying to really build the Young Bucks up for the Dragon Gate USA promotion, so kind of makes sense putting them in the main event, because they did want to build them up, and Ryo Saito and Genki Horiguchi pick up the win in the main event. Saw a good ref bump in that match, and they pretty much won the match in a heelish manner, defeating the Young Bucks in a shady manner, and definitely, it was a good tag team match. Like I said, 3.5 stars, and it's definitely a pay-per-view that's worth going out your way to see. It's definitely worth the $20, and I would overall give this pay-per-view, it might kind of be overrating it a little bit, but still, with a 4 3/4 star match, 2 3.5 star matches, and a 4.5 star match, I think it deserves getting it, especially since it was only a 2-hour pay-per-view as well. Definitely deserves a rating of a 9.5 out of 10. Definitely a must-see show, and yeah, that's it for my Dragon Gate USA Untouchable pay-per-view review. Peace.